What's up, everyone? I recently qualified for the Players Cup 2, and I wanted to make a video to discuss and show you guys some of the decks I was using and some of the strategies I was using to qualify. So here you can see I'm 89th on the leaderboard with 104 points. So this is the US and Canada region tournament rep from last month because the qualifying period is over. So yeah, I came in 89th. They're still gonna apparently finalize this and take into account some tiebreakers, so my position might shift a little bit, but yeah, I finished with 104 points. So you had to finish in the top 256. So that looks like 89 points. So I'm like well above that. This is where the tiebreakers really matter for some of these people to see if they get in. So the qualifying period just ended, and the next step is actually to submit or register. I'm not sure if I have to submit a deck list. I haven't read over all these rules. So yeah, the registration period is the 30th until November 3rd. So I'll have to do that pretty soon. And then the next round of the tournament is November 7th. So that'll be when I really get to put my skills to the test. So yeah, let me show you guys some of the decks I was using. I started out, I played one round of Centiskorch actually, and I drew completely terribly, and I actually lost to a Mad Party deck, and so then I was like, okay, I need to probably test a little bit more. So I decided to play some ADP because it's just a very strong deck and it's super consistent. So I think I was playing something like this. I can't remember exactly because it was about a month ago, but I played ADP for maybe 5-10 tournaments, something like that. And it was doing all right. I was getting some wins, still getting some losses. I actually decided that I wanted to switch up my deck because I wanted to win more. And I had a better grasp of what the meta was, which was a lot of ADP and a lot of Lucario, Metal tag team. So I switched it up to Centiskorch because Centiskorch can beat ADP and Lucario, Metal tag team pretty easily and has a decent shot against Eternatus. So then I switched it up to Centiskorch. This is my current build of the list. I'm not sure exactly what I was playing at the time. So I favor lesser energy count and the one fire crystal and some hearts for the energy. A lot of people play more energy, but I just want more consistency. So I'm going with the great balls, and I use Dedenne, heavy count Dedenne, and the Crobat to draw good too. So the reason I switched off Centiskorch was actually because I was losing to Eternatus, and that's just a really tough matchup. So I was reassessing the meta, and I decided that I wanted to play some Torkoal because I was testing that with my friend, and it seems to have good matchups. The deck can be really difficult to play, and you always feel like you have too many options and you might not know which one to do. So I did play Torkoal for 3 tournaments. I came in first, second, and then I lost in the first round one time. But it did get me so I guess that's 8 points. So it's pretty good for 3 tournaments. This is my list for it. I don't really like the turbo patch in it. I actually opt to go first so you can get the first attachment. And then next turn you go for the welder and the extra attachment to do the steam crush. But I still have the Volk just in case you go second, or if you face off against Decidueye or something like that. The Decidueye matchup is actually pretty tough because I only play the one Volcanion. So you have to really get rid of all their energy before you start swinging with the Volcanion. But it's a manageable matchup. The draw engine in the deck is basically the 4 Dedenne, 4 Cherish Ball, and the Cherish Ball can also get you the Heatran, which could be important if you don't draw into a Torkoal or a Quick Ball, or maybe if your Great Ball doesn't work that well. So after I lost a tournament with Torkoal, I really just wasn't feeling it anymore, and I decided to reanalyze the meta again and do a little bit more practice. And so I was practicing Lucario and Metal. A lot of top players were saying it's really good, and I played it a bunch, and I think it's really good too. So I played that. I played on ladder a bunch. I was doing really well on the ladder, but I entered one tournament with it, and I hit a fire deck, a Blacephalon deck, I think it was, and I lost. I really wasn't feeling Lucario and Metal after that. So at that point in time, it was when the Hegster TCG tournaments were going on, and someone was doing really well with ADP hammers. And I've been considering throwing hammers into ADP for a while. I don't know, it's like, you don't really want to play Crushing Hammer if you don't have to, but it was good. I played ADP hammers for a little while. I don't have the deck made anymore. I switched it to catchers. ADP hammers is all right. But with ADP hammers, I was still having a tough time against Eternatus. So I wanted to switch my deck up again. And I was thinking about it, and there was a lot of Centiskorch and a lot of ADP going around at this time. So I was thinking that I wanted to switch to Eternatus because it can beat Centiskorch and ADP pretty reasonably. So I was working on Eternatus, and I was actually winning like a lot on the ladder. Like I got up to a 12-game win streak, I believe, on the ladder, maybe higher. And so I was really feeling it. But in tournaments, it wasn't like as good. So I played Eternatus for like about 5 tournaments. And I came in second twice, and then I came in the top 4 twice, and then I lost in the first round once or twice. And after I lost in the first round once or twice, I actually only had 5 tournament tickets left. Eternatus is actually kind of inconsistent, so I didn't really want to trust my last 5 tournaments to playing Eternatus because I still wasn't in the top 256 yet. I had like 80, 84 points, something like that. Maybe I had 89 already. I can't remember, but it was in the 80s. So I wanted to play something like really consistent for my last 5 tournaments. So that's when I switched to ADP again. And I was practicing it on the ladder. I came up with the idea of catchers being the best way to play it based on playing against people. And a lot of people were winning by using the Mawile-GX and the Zacian, because Mawile only needs like 1 saucer and 1 attachment if your ADP gets knocked out early, which is like when you have the most trouble. So the Mawile is like a definite include, and the catchers like really help because you really just need to use the GX attack and then use the Mawile if you need to, or your opponent might just bench some like the Dedennes or Crobats for you to knock out easily. The catchers have been way better than hammers because you also have the bosses, so like you just have so many outs to switch up a Pokemon to knock out. It lets you kind of like blow through your deck a lot faster because if you're only relying on the bosses, you might not want to discard them. You might have to be more conservative. But since you have the extra catchers, you don't have to really be that conservative. You can just kind of like do your own game plan. So this is what I played for the last 5 tournaments. And I actually won 3 of the last 5 tournaments, which like excelled me to the top at 104 points. So like, I think the other 2 tournaments out of the 5, I like lost in the first round, but it got me there, shot me up in the rankings. So I do think it's very good. And like I said, the main reason I wanted to play it is because it's so consistent. Like you got the 4 Dedennes, you got the Crobat, you got Cherish Balls, you know, a good amount of draw supporters, and it just felt like it could execute its game plan like more often than a deck like Eternatus or Centiskorch. So yeah, that's some of my mentality through playing this tournament or the pre-qualifiers for the tournament. I think it was very important for me to like analyze the meta and switch my deck up accordingly. And I didn't rush into the tournaments. I'd like practice on the ladder a bunch, which I think was also very helpful. So I hope this discussion was helpful to you. If you have any questions about my tournament run, let me know. And hopefully I do well in the next phase of the tournament. And if you're playing this tournament, then good luck to you. All right, that's all I got for now. I'll catch you next time.